need to know this.
You do. All right, I'm good if you're good.
We've been recording this.
Okay, cool.
Oh, great.
Welcome to Caffeinate Navigate. I am your host, Jess, joined by another Jess today. And we just made our own cups of coffee, so we are sipping our coffee. I did not stop and get one. And we are not sponsored by Keurig, but we're sitting in front of a Keurig. Keurig, hit us up at Keurig. I don't know, is that a thing? I have no idea.
Hit us up at Keurig. Hit us up at Keurig.
Hey, at Keurig, hit us up at Pure Star. All right, so I am joined by my guest, Jess, today. Jess, do you want to tell us you work here at Pure Star?
Yes.
What is your role here?
I'm currently a CPS here at Pure Star, and I'm also a crisis CPS at Lehigh County Crisis.
Yeah, so you're embedded within the crisis program there. Like, what do you do there?
Well, we're kind of like right there in the field. We get phone calls. The crisis worker gets phone calls for 302s or 201s for a crisis situation. They go and assess. And so I always say that they get them off the ledge and I kind of walk them across the bridge as a CPS, you know? Yeah. They help in the immediate crisis and then we kind of carry them through as a CPS.
Oh, that's very cool. And there's not a lot of places that do that. It's really a new concept to embed a peer specialist into crisis services. Yeah. So
I would say it's so necessary because it's like new, like the police department, they're all like, well, what does a CPS actually do? And then I kind of explain and show them. They're like, we need more of you. So it's been awesome.
Oh, that's so cool. And again, on our area, I only know one other Cambria County. So we have Lehigh County and Cambria County that I'm aware of have embedded CPSs into some of their crisis services.
Yeah, it's definitely necessary.
Yeah. So I just asked Jess minutes ago what we were going to caffeinate and advocate about, and you said prisons. Very excitedly. Yeah. So what is it about prisons? Because that's how you did it. Yeah. That you like to share when we're talking wellness and recovery and advocacy. Yeah. What is it about prisons that gets you excited to talk to people?
Well, I have a heart for the inner city. I've grown up right there on Ridge Avenue and True Street. I'm a Ridge baby. I
don't know where that's at.
Okay, so it's right there in the hood.
I don't have an inner city where I'm from.
Okay, it's right in the hood, and but those are my people, and listen, jail. I know several people that are in right now incarcerated. Fortunately, I only ever had to do 3 days myself. But I just know that the people that are in there, a lot of the times it's mental health. It's something that's not treated. And they go on to continually make these bad habits over and over again. And before they get released, I feel like that they need to have a plan set in place, like, at least a few months before they get released. Are you in treatment? Are you in therapy? Do you have a diagnosis? Do you have a job? Do you have housing? And I don't feel like that's really a thing right now. I know that there are some programs, but definitely having a CPS in there and working with them one-on-one, advocating for them and teaching them to self-advocate for themselves is so necessary. So I'm all about prison and getting in there and helping them out.
Yeah, and I know we have a few programs like that. We have a few forensic programs that, one of the things that we, as a recovery-oriented organization is we believe in second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances. And we believe in supporting people, and that if you have lived experience of being incarcerated, that can be valuable to go help other people as they're 100%. Coming back into their community. Is there anything like when you say that you're excited, or the idea of that, of having like a CPS in there, where do you think the value is? What do you think that really would be beneficial to having someone with kind of a lived experience? Or
I think it's so beneficial because a lot of times, and I was saying like in my recovery story, that sometimes people are hesitant to open up about their life or to trust what the other person is asking of them or saying to them because they don't have a lived experience. Sometimes you go see the white coat and it's like they're so shut off and they're just like, well, okay, and how do you feel about that? Whereas a CPS could say, I've been there, I've done that, and I know that you can come out on the other side. Yeah. So it's so beneficial to show them hope and to say, I know where you've been, I've been there, and you can be where I'm at too. So
now, in your work as a CPS, have you supported anyone who was recently incarcerated or
recently released? Yeah.
Oh, recently released. Yeah. Like, what were the main kind of barriers or goals that you had to work on to kind of support them?
So this is why I feel like it's so important having someone embedded in there, because I dealt with it with them coming home and not having a plan, where this could have all taken place now. So now we're like dealing with homelessness. And then like, when you're out and you don't have a plan, you can easily go right back in because you can make decisions to like, I need to go get food, but I have no money because I don't have a job.
Yeah.
So I'm going to steal it. And then you go right back in. So if we can just set them up with a plan while they're in, and they'll be more prepared.
Yeah, I actually was just working with an individual that had been incarcerated for approximately six or 7 months. And during that time, when they were released, when they left, they owned their home. They owned their home. But when they came back, 6 to 7 months of a mortgage payment not being made, of electric not being paid, utilities, nobody was keeping that payment going while they were gone.
Yeah.
So luckily they haven't lost their house. They were able to kind of manage that, but they had to go through and pay back, back payments to get their electric turned on and all those other things. So just an additional stressor after just being released, and trying to get back to work and trying to get back to these other things. And a lot of people don't realize that stuff happens, or that those are some barriers that people experience.
And even just like with mental health, the prisons, they're full, and the psychiatrists that they have on staff, there maybe not be many if there's more than one. So just having like an extra person for them to talk to and sit and listen. Sometimes they just need someone to talk to and like, listen, I'm dealing with trauma, or I made this mistake because of this. And just having an extra ear to listen to is so beneficial. And so prison is where my heart is, and the inner city.
Yeah, and I think, again, inner city is just such a unique term to me, because I've only seen inner city on TV.
Okay.
And again, I'm in an area where we don't have an inner city. There's not in my county, my entire county, there's nowhere that would be considered an inner city.
Okay.
We have like a central part of the city that, there's nowhere in my county that I have to really be concerned that it's different than anywhere else. So it's just a unique, like, what is inner city? Like, when you have to describe inner city and like the needs of the
poverty.
inner city. Okay.
Poverty. And along with poverty is a lot of mental health. So you will see a lot of different disorders out there that untreated because they don't have insurance, or they don't have the means to go to a doctor, or a car to get there, or to stay in treatment. And then along with that comes with crime, addiction, lots of addiction, alcoholism. It all gets wrapped into mental health, though. Yeah. Like if your mental health is treated, sometimes you won't have to try a substance to numb that. So it's tough out there.
And it's just unique because, again, we have areas that are so rural. So I would be considered to be living in an area that's more rural, where no one has transportation and there's no public transportation available, where there's a lot more of like family and domestic situations, because people are living in multi-generational homes without access to everything they need. Without the outside world. And so if there's any conflict there, but just again, a whole different even types of crimes that are happening. And so the people in jail have such a different background and experience than other areas. But
so like being in the inner city, they do have the access to public transportation. So the more of us out there advocating, like, hey, there's resources. We know you're suffering, you're going through it, but here's the bus pass. Come down to the crisis. We'll give you free bus passes. You get 10 on a thing, and you can get around all day. So there are resources. As much as there's like a lot of hurt and suffering out there, there's also the help and the resources. We just got to connect.
That's the big one. Exactly. Connecting. Because I think a lot of people don't know it's there, or if you're like me, I know it's there, but I'm not from an area where I've ever had to use it or that it's available. So if I would come and move here and not have resources, I would need somebody to show me how to use the bus system, because it's just never been an option for me. And so it's not a skill I have because it's never been an option. But this is the time where we know what I'm doing, but she doesn't know what I'm doing. This is the time where we do coffee can questions. So someday I'm gonna not sing that, and I'm gonna say, what's wrong that I didn't sing it? So this is just these. Did you hear I couldn't talk there? These are my coffee can questions. They are a random selection of questions. Some of them can be mental health related, some of them may be recovery, some of them may not be related to that at all. And you're going to pick one, and we are both going to answer the question. So we're going to stir it around there. Hopefully it's one we haven't done before, but I mean, there's like probably 50 questions in there. So pick one out,
Big money,
read it, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, big money, big money. No whammy, no whammy, no whammies.
Am I reading it out loud?
Read it out loud.
Okay. What do you want to what do you want to know more about in regards to mental health, wellness, and recovery? You want to go first? Oh, I'm supposed to.
No, I can go first. What was it?
What do you want to know more about in regards to mental health, wellness, and recovery?
Okay, this is a good question because we both work in the field. So I feel like we're probably both well versed in mental health and recovery, but there's always something else to learn.
Yeah.
So I know right now, me personally, I am very interested in and intrigued in learning more about resources and support for people who are grieving, for grief and loss and bereavement. So, you know, I know that can be a lifelong. I know a lot about it, but I still need to learn a lot more about it. So I would love to learn more about, you know, grief and loss and the impact it has on your physical health and on your, you know, long-term mental health and emotional health. So that's something I'm really, really intrigued by.
Oh, that's awesome. I would say something that I've always wanted to know more about, because I don't really feel like we have too many veterans that are like recipients of needing a CPS, but it's so crucial that they have one. And even the families of people that maybe their spouse or partner is away, you know, and they're out here and they need someone to kind of help them cope with like being alone and doing it by themselves. We had a speaker come at one of our staff meetings, and he was a veteran, and then he was in recovery, and his story was so phenomenal. And I was just like, not that we forget about veterans, but just like, wow, that's like a whole community in itself that's like really needs CPS, that could really use peer support.
And that is what's really cool is peer support is just, I mean, the foundations of peer support, whether it's peer support like ours, which is Medicaid funded, it's certified, but even just the concept of a lived experience of something helping someone else who's going through that is just growing and growing because we're finding how beneficial it is. Yep. Well, last thing I would have for you today is what are some just kind of last words of hope or inspiration that you would want to give somebody? We'll kind of keep with, I know so much pressure. Let's kind of keep with that idea of prisons. Yeah. You know, if somebody watching this has either been recently incarcerated and released and is navigating coming back into the community, or if that's something, an ongoing struggle for somebody, do you have any kind of words of hope or inspiration for someone who's experiencing that?
Yeah. I would say the world is so quick to throw out labels, you know, and whether you're a felon or whatever it is that you've done, we all are deserving of grace. So give yourself some grace. And when coming out and coming home, know that there's resources out there for you. You are not what the world says you are. So I just pray that you find your own identity and know that there's help out there, and you deserve a second chance, or third or fourth or fifth, because we all deserve it. Yeah. So give yourself grace.
I can't improve that. So that was pretty perfect. So that's where we're going to end today. I thank you so much. This is where I like to do a obligatory cheers. Yes. So thank you very much. Same to you. Okay. Thanks. Until next time.